My name's Mary Kopenschlag, and I am the founder and CEO of Discover Pathways. Discover Pathways is a career consulting company for young adults, and we work specifically to help make the college planning process simpler and less confusing. So you can check us out on Discover Pathways. Pathways is spelled a little differently. It's pathwaze.com. And we'd love to answer questions or help you out if you have any needs that you have questions. Sorry about that. So today I'm going to cover the do's and don'ts of social media. And this is actually not going to be a long presentation because frankly, it's pretty simple if you've done some things right. So approximately 10 minutes or less, we're going to cover this really important topic. So let me just tell you, you have spent a lot of time creating your personal brand as a student when you apply to college. And what I mean by that is you've done all the academic work you need to do. You have done the volunteer work. You have taken the test, the ACT or the SAT, and now it really comes time to present yourself in a professional manner. And you do that with a couple of ways. You do that with your essays, right? You write about something very important, special to you, so you can show the application officers a little bit more about who you are as a person. And then you give them a long list of activities you've done, so whether it's sports, work, volunteering, and they can get an idea of the human that's going to come to their campus. So one of the things that's very important as an addition is your social media. And I think you'd be surprised to know that approximately 70% of the admissions officers, particularly in your private schools or your more elite schools, think that social media is fair game when it comes to making decisions about whether they want to accept you or not in their school. So you have to be careful. And some of this is frankly outside of your control. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. So you've just got to be very careful about what you're doing and who's watching you do it and who's capturing that information. Because once information is captured on you, it is out there and it is out there forever. So you just want to be really, really careful with how you use social media. So we're going to go into some details. So you are a brand. You are a brand when you're at high school, you're a brand when you're going into college, and you have a personal brand that you've taken to you into the workforce. And you present that brand in a lot of ways. You present it in person, who you are as you bring forward with other people, and you present it on paper, and you present it online. So what you want to do is you want to reinforce the things that are important to you that you want colleges to know about. So are you a really good student? If so, you want to show pictures and documentation about being a great student. If you're an athlete, you'd want to post pictures and videos about being an incredible athlete, a musician. If you're active in your community, if you're a big hiker or a sailor, you want to bring that out and show that in your social media. If you happen to own some YouTube videos, please make sure that there are videos that frankly you would not be embarrassed to have anyone watch. Your grandparent, the pastor of your church, the mayor of your town. It can be cool to your friends and fun, but you really want to say, would I mind if anyone saw that YouTube video out on the internet? The other thing that I think is important is your name. And the way we present ourselves in email is very important. If you can possibly have an email with your first and last name or some combination of that, or your Twitter handle, or any other ID, make it very sensible, keep it simple and keep it professional. Don't use any slang, don't use anything sketchy. Definitely your name should be something in an email that's that someone would recognize and it be reasonable. And the other day I had a student come in and they had a very strange name on their Gmail account. And so we actually just created a new email address with her first and last name with a few characters on the end because it was already taken. And that ID is going to be especially used for her college planning. So she will have that kept safe. The other is if you have a high school ID, often it will go away. So for your college planning, you want to have your email address be specific for college, and that way you don't miss important information from colleges. The other thing you want to do with social media is you want to check your privacy settings. Even though you may mark something as private, others who tag you or have friends of friends will include you in their pictures. So that is how others are able to access information about you where you've marked your stuff private, but because they've tagged you, someone else has, they can still see those photos, videos, and online comments. So be very careful about, again, who you're allowing people to take pictures of and how they're tagging you. And I think it goes without saying, don't ever put anything in a photo or a video that is illegal or objectionable, and I guess really just don't do it. But yeah. So what do you want to do? You want to Google yourself. So you want to go out and just use different search engines and different browsers and search your name and search combinations of your name and search your name with your high school and with your friend groups or your sports. It's really important to know what's being out there said about you on social media. And then here's some ways to actually boost your brand online and keep you shining online. So join LinkedIn. I know it may seem like it's early for you to join LinkedIn, especially if you're not in a business club at school like DECA or FBLA, but absolutely start that professional network now. The reality is people want to help people. So if you start establishing your LinkedIn profile online and collect your colleagues. So, you know, if you love Nike or if you love Supreme brand or whatever it is, go out there and like their page and then start engaging in professional conversations so that once you get out of college or look for an internship, that you've already started to collect your network of colleagues and friends that are going to be your biggest advocates when you're looking for a job. And I can guarantee you, after spending almost 30 years at a technology company, I utilize my network tremendously, both for friends, my family, myself, because again, if you're a person that needs help, you also want to give help, and so that relationship goes back and forth. So super important, join LinkedIn and populate it with your information. The other thing that's positive about LinkedIn, this is not an advertisement for LinkedIn, is that it helps you keep straight of the jobs that you've had. So as you're building your resume, you can go back and forth between your resume and your LinkedIn and really build that up. And then the other thing is just participate in online groups and pages that interest you. So whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, be very positive out there in the community and give positive comments versus negative or critical ones. Here's something you shouldn't do. You should not assume any of your information is private. We've talked about it before earlier on this session, but everything, and I mean everything you post out on the internet is kept, and it is reviewed and researched. And there is analysis going on behind the scenes. And I know that because of the work that I've done in the past. And so be very, very careful about what you put out there and who you're sharing with and how you're signing in and giving authorization to your data. That also includes your voice data, things that you say. So I'm not going to go into that a lot more, but just never assume anything that you've posted even in an email to someone else, is private. And then obviously data is power, so do not falsify anything. it is too easy to check information, and you don't want the reason why you're not accepted into school be because that you falsified some information, you put the wrong dates. And I'm not saying, you know, for instance, if you took an ACT in March and you happen to put April, that's okay. But no one's going to kick you out of school or not accept you because of that. But just be very careful with the data that you have out there and that the data is correct. Obviously, another thing, you just don't ever want to be negative or absolutely never aggressive online. Yes, free speech is important and we are all entitled to our opinions, but when an admissions officer is looking at you, they really don't want to see that you are posting negative comments behind the scenes. They want to see positive, constructive, engaging conversation. And that is absolutely something that your admissions would be pushed to the side if they saw some particularly negative or hateful speech out there. All of the colleges right now are looking for tolerance and inclusion. And so it's very important about how you use your free speech. Obviously, it goes without saying, don't post anything that's illegal. And remember that in some states, there are drugs. I'm from Colorado that are legal in some states and not legal in others, or not legal on a national level. And so I would be very careful about what you post as far as your drug use and or participation, especially if you're not of age. So again, just don't put that out there. The next one, I don't really think we need to talk much about. This goes back to the question about if you would post something that your grandmother could see or the pastor of your church. Don't post anything that is sexually explicit or revealing about yourself. The other thing is it's just dangerous. And there are people online that are looking for information like that. So as a general rule, just don't post that information and do not post those pictures. And then lastly, don't use any strange or inappropriate hashtags. I mean, they may seem funny to you at the time when you're 14, 15, 16, but get rid of them and don't use them. So last, who is looking at your information? Well, there's a lot of advertisers out there that are actually doing a ton of data analysis on your information and all of our information out there. So who's looking? The admissions teams. I think there's a stat that there's around 30–40% that are actually looking at you online as they make their admissions decision. So I would say it's the admissions team. It's also scholarship committees. If they are giving you thousands of dollars and committing that money based on your integrity and the value of what you bring, you definitely want to make sure that these scholarship committees and community members are finding positive information about you. Absolutely, your potential roommate is going to be looking at your online information and trying to figure out who you are. That is why a lot of schools actually don't announce your roommate until just before you arrive, because they're afraid that you'll look at the information and decide you don't want to be with that person. So yeah, but absolutely, your peers and your roommates will be looking you up. Coaches absolutely are looking. So you just want to make sure, especially they're looking not only for your athletic details, but they're also looking to see what kind of sportsmanship are you putting out there and what kind of a team member are you. So that's super important if you are going in for any type of athletics. Lastly, your employers. As you are going to school, you're going to get part-time jobs, potentially working on campus, and you want to make sure that they're not finding anything objectionable out on your social media. And lastly, volunteer organizations. You know, you just want to make sure that you are seen as respectful and honest and a good contributor for society. So I hope this helped you understand. Go out and start Googling yourself and see what kind of information you can find. Also help your peers. There's nothing worse than having someone be accepted to college or a job and then losing that opportunity because they posted something they shouldn't have had out there. So watch out for your friends too, and don't let your friends post things that they probably shouldn't be posting. So it's never too early to start cleaning up your sites and your friends and build a great brand so that you get accepted and you're off to the college that you want to be at. So I appreciate the time that we've spent together. And if you have any more questions or information and you'd like to contribute to this discussion, feel free to reach out to us at Discover Pathways. And take care and good luck.